Only the indomitable Senator David Jordan, Chairman, Senate Drug Policy Committee, is on with me. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing good, and it is a pleasure talking to you, man. I'm telling what, you just never slow up, do you?
I never what?
You never slow up. You were hot and heavy yesterday. I played some of your dissertation on the Coldwater school situation on the air this morning.
Well, some of us who have taught a long time end up being maladjusted because we, like myself, spent 33 years in the system and been through many cases in federal court on different things, and we just know and try to see if we can't work with people, even though they may be out of our district, based on our experience.
Yeah,
that's all that was.
What was
just
your
to care for the rejected, the downtrodden, and the poor African American students, as well as the poor whites who are in a predicament of that site.
There's 94, and I don't want to spend a lot of time on this one, but the Senator Jordan, there are 94 students in that school. And it's basically dine on the vine. I'm not sure how many employees are there, but there are members
of 94 in the high school. I talked with the mayor of that city, of that town, late yesterday evening, and he told me that it's 7th and 8th grade there. You have it's about 400 or 500 students there in all. I've taught in public schools from the 9th through 12 with less than that. From 9th through 12.
Yeah,
so that's no big deal.
Are they talking about moving just those grades or the entire school?
Well, they're talking about closing the high school and leaving it as
the high school. Okay. All right. First of all, I got to ask you, how in the world did you wind up in Wyoming to go to school there?
Well, the University of Mississippi turned me down. At that time, African America was not being accepted at the University of Mississippi. At one time we had to go out of state to renew our license in order to teach in the state because we couldn't go to any schools that offer graduate credit at that time. So this was on when the Russians put the Sputnik up. Then all science teachers all over the country were offered scholarships that they applied, and I applied to go to Ole Miss, and then I wasn't accepted. Then I applied to Kansas State College of Pittsburgh, and they let me into their graduate school, and I transferred from there. The next year I applied to the University of Wyoming, which had a sequential program leading to a master's degree in chemistry.
Yeah, and
That's how I ended up out there.
And the guy brought up, they brought up chemistry, and I guess that was the wrong course to bring up because you had a degree in the chemistry, so you were able to relate on that.
Well, in a struggle through physics and chemistry and coming up with a full background, sort of a sharecropper, that was very difficult for me in Wyoming, being only 3 blacks on the campus, and they thought of us as possibly Buffalo Soldiers. So we were well respected out there. Those were good people and good, hard-working people, and they loved us and we loved them. And they asked me, so since you're out of the South, why are you going back? I said, are you kidding? My family's there. I live there.
Have you ever seen anybody? Did they ever come down to visit you?
From Wyoming?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had one classmate to come through on his way to Florida, spend the night with us.
How about that? Let's talk about the riots and this George Floyd situation and the flag. Where do we go from here?
Come together. We need to come together. Mississippi, I love this state. That's why I never left it other than going off to school in various places. I love this state. There are great potentials here. From the Mississippi Delta, even though there are some harsh things that have happened across the country, across the state, but we could make Mississippi an oasis, excuse my expression. We could make Mississippi an oasis if we just come together and realize tourism is the way to go.
And we've been talking about that this morning, and that flag is going to be even more caustic as time goes on, and it's got to be done. But who's going to stand up and take charge of this? It was a question we had this morning.
Well, I know they quoted me in Taggart's book back in 2001. When I got up and spoke against the flag, the Klansmen were there. This is a community college in the Delta. And all they hollered was watermelon. Well, good God, I love the fruit, and every soul I know, whether African American or white, loves the fruit, which is watermelon. And I thought that was kind of an embarrassment. They thought were embarrassment to me by hollering watermelon because I was speaking against what they wanted. But the sad thing hurt me. Governor William Winters was there, and how they talked to him and said he wasn't unfit. All of that is in the book that Taggart wrote.
Yeah.
And I thought that was disgraceful that you would have people stand up and tell one of our best governors, a leading governor at that time, that he wasn't fit to lead. So there was a lot of stuff that went on. And some people laughed at it, but I thought it was ridiculous. My bottom line is, if we had the cohesiveness to stick together and move our state forward, it would be better for all 3 million of us. Certainly, African American who's been in civil rights and the son of sharecroppers, her ancestors watered this land with their tears and made it rich with our bones. If I'm willing, or my type is willing to come together and make our state an oasis, I don't see what the problem is. I don't see why we can't realize that Mississippi have great potential, and we cannot stop it in the future backwards like we have done for many years. We're going to have to join the union and work together and build our own state from within, from government, from all the way from the legislature to the governor's office, and say, here we are.
I agree with you. I agree with you, and I think this, because of what has happened recently and because where we are and where the whole situation is, this is our moment in history of the state of Mississippi, and we should not pass it up and put this problem on the next generation. Do it now.
Well, see, the sky will fall if African Americans and white Americans in Mississippi come together in one accord and build our own state and make it a better place for all of us. The sky won't fall. So I don't know what the issue is. We cannot look in the past, because if anybody should hate the past, it's African Americans. We didn't ask to come here. We didn't come here waving at the Statue of Liberty. We came here on the bottom of the ship, and we gave 247 years of free labor and 100 years of the worst kind of discrimination and 50 years of knockoff freedom, which means freedom off and on.
I do understand that, but I also understand that you're talking to a lot of people that you need help from to achieve this, that were not slave owners, are not slave owners, and again, one of the things we have to do is come together on both sides. I know that, but as much as
everybody benefited from slavery. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the whole process. I know we're not looking back at that as now, but it was a process. I'm letting you know, if humble people can come from the recipient of the great-great-grandchildren slavery for 247 years of free labor, help to lift the yoke to put people in place that want to still look back and think that they can continue to do what was happening then. But thank God we got diverse groups who can have 20/20 vision, can see that we need to be together. Certainly, our status of the world leader could be in jeopardy because of what is happening here with us.
I don't disagree with that one. Are you okay with the flag that's presented now, so that we could go on and get this one, the flag that's been brought out, the Stennis flag?
Oh yes, I've seen pictures of it. Mm-hmm. I have no problem with it. But I don't have the votes. You don't want to put out a fire, you got to have enough of it.
Well, yeah, it's going to be very difficult to do. But do you think there's a chance?
Well, in my opinion, I don't know. I've been through this so many times, so we don't fly it in Greenwood. We had it removed from the City Hall in Greenwood and in the LaFleur County Courthouse. So I don't know what the state will do.
Well, I think to have a flag that we're all proud of, you go back and you look at places like Texas, white and black, we need that as part of the cohesiveness as one people. And if we don't do this and make these decisions, then it's just going to be worse tomorrow. As
but
86,
you're preaching to the choir. You're preaching to the choir.
I know. I'm just wanted your views on. Hey, look, next time I want to get you in the studio, and we'll do this for a whole hour. How's that sound?
You bet.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.